I'm Kris Borgman with MySoil. Just want to share this information, and I hope these tips help you guys in your lawn. So we've obviously rototilled the area that we're going to renovate here. We've smoothed everything out. It's really important to take time in the beginning and do everything right, because you can't really come back once you've seeded. I feel like we got a good seed bed, and so we're gonna go ahead now and we're gonna start seeding. We're gonna seed and get our fertilizer down, and then we'll look at some irrigation as well. We're using the MySoil Premium Double Dark Green. Obviously, this is a seed blend that we've vetted for a number of years, produces a very, very high quality lawn. It's a blend of Kentucky bluegrass and perennial ryegrass. We've already calibrated the spreader. We're gonna go ahead and put the seed down, and we're gonna try and target about 6 to 8 pounds per thousand, probably more on the 8-pound range. The reason we like to do this in the fall is because we have less competition from weeds, especially grassy weeds like crabgrass. So the fall is a great time. You have good soil temperatures, a little bit cooler nights, and allows that soil moisture to really stay on the surface and get that grass seed to germinate quickly. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and follow right along this edge here. As you can see here, we're kind of throwing back to our wheel tracks. A lot of people ask if you need to use a drop spreader to do this, and a rotary spreader is totally fine. I actually prefer it. It gives you a great coverage, a little bit wider pattern than the drop spreader does. As you can see here, we've got really nice coverage here. You see good even coverage. Obviously the bigger seeds, this is gonna be our ryegrass seeds, and then these little tiny seeds right here that you can see, that's our Kentucky bluegrass seeds. Those are gonna, again, the ryegrass will pop up first, and then the Kentucky bluegrass is gonna slowly come in and fill in underneath. And that bluegrass is really nice because that's what's gonna give our repairability if we have damage from animals or any type of foot traffic. That Kentucky bluegrass will kind of fill in underneath. One critical thing to do is really incorporate the seed in the top 1/8 quarter inch of the soil surface. That's going to give us really good soil to seed contact. So what we want to do is just come back with a rake. You can use a normal leaf rake, wire rake, a landscape rake, but all we want to do is just kind of scratch the surface here. So we're going to just lightly pull the rake across the surface. And this is going to incorporate that seed into the surface a little bit. So we're just going to keep doing that. This is a really important step that most people kind of look over or forget. So we just want to do a nice job of incorporating the seed. You'll kind of see these lines a little bit when the seed germinates. You'll see how good you incorporated that seed into the surface. So we're just going to do this across the whole area until we're all the way done. So once we get all this seed incorporated here, the next step we'll do is we'll go ahead and put down a fertilizer. We're going to use an organic fertilizer base. That's going to be our slow release nitrogen, help build soil biology, keep our soils living. And then we're also going to go ahead and combine that with a synthetic 1616 fertilizer. The 1616, you guys commonly hear, is also called a starter fertilizer. The reason we're going to use this fertilizer is, and why they call it a starter fertilizer, is because grass and any kind of plants need a little bit more of certain nutrients at planting. So even though my soil tests are showing I'm optimal, we're going to go ahead and put down some phosphorus, potassium, and nitrogen all in this application at seeding. And the reason we're doing that is because we want to ensure that that plant has adequate access to nutrients right out of the gate. So that's the reason they call it a starter fertilizer, as it just kind of gives the grass a little bit of a jump start to get it going. And then if your soil test shows that you're optimal in phosphorus, we don't really need to continue to apply phosphorus. So we're going to switch up our fertilizer practices after seeding to just supply the nutrients that are required based on our soil test. All right, so we've got all our grass seed raked in lightly. Now what we're gonna do is gonna go ahead and kick on our irrigation system and see how good our coverage is and if we need to adjust anything. So now that we've got everything seeded and fertilized, what we're gonna do is we're gonna be running this irrigation probably once every hour for 5 or 10 minutes, and we're gonna keep the ground super moist the whole time, and that's gonna get our seed to germinate really quickly. That's really the key, is to never let it dry out. Always keep it moist. So we'll let these sprinklers get a couple revolutions around, and we'll see what our coverage looks like, and if we need to make any adjustments on our nozzles, or also our height adjustment if we want to lower the spray or increase the height of the spray. All right, we're at about day 17, 18. As you can see, we have a great stand of turf here. The ryegrass is coming real nicely. The bluegrass, the Kentucky bluegrass, is filling in from underneath. And yeah, we have a pretty good stand here just after a couple weeks. So everything germinated good. We did our first mowing at day 14. So 14 was our first mowing. And then we mowed again 2 days ago. So as you can see, it looks a little more even now, more uniform across the whole area. Not too many bad areas as far as areas that don't have good seed coverage. There's some thin spots here and there, but you know, this area here does have it's a little bit thin, but the Kentucky bluegrass will really, you know, fill in this area. So I'm not gonna come back in and overseed any of these spots really. I'm pretty happy overall. So if you remember when we first tilled the ground, prepped the ground, and right after we seeded, we applied a fertilizer, 1616. So that fertilizer has gotten us a good jump start. All the growth that we have to date is from that fertilizer. Things are gonna start slowing down a little bit now. And so what we're gonna do here, probably in another week, is we'll come back in with another fertilizer, and we'll go ahead and hit this with another application. That application will be right around 0.5 to 0.75 pounds of actual nitrogen, just to push a little bit more growth before we move into the winter months. So again, here in another week or so, depending on growth and how everything looks, we'll come in with another application and kind of finish this out for the rest of the season. All right, so as you can see, we've made a couple passes with the reel mower. A real nice cut. You know, you can see these ripples, which I call marcelling, and that's okay. We're just trying to get the turf established and build some density. I really like to set my mowing height pretty low to start. So we're at, you know, right about 1 inch here, 3/4 to 1 inch roughly. I like to start low. That really helps us build our density quickly. The turf is gonna start to tiller out more rapidly, meaning we're gonna get more leaves per shoot. So we really like to mow low right out of the gate. A lot of people will wait for the turf to get really tall for first mow, and I'm kind of the opposite. I think you should get on it as quickly as you can, as long as you're not gonna, you know, rut out the ground and cause problems. If you can get on it early, you're really gonna be rewarded with a nice stand of turf. And so we like to get on it early with these lightweight push reel mowers. That's gonna allow us to mow low, establish real good turf density right out of the gate, and the result's gonna be something you're gonna be really happy with. All right, we have great growing conditions right now. We're still hitting 80 degrees, so the grass is really jumping out of the ground. I thought I was a little bit behind, but we've been blessed with some really good weather. So we should have really good results and get good establishment going into the winter months. So pretty excited about this. The MySoil Premium Double Dark Green Grass Seed is really really shining. You can see we had germination in 4 days. We're mowing, have almost a yard that looks like a functioning yard, you know, in about 2 weeks. So pretty happy with that, and I guess these are the kind of results that you guys can expect, you know, with this seed blend that we provide here at MySoil. So if you're ever interested in a cool season blend of perennial ryegrass and Kentucky bluegrass, I assure you that this blend is going to treat you very nicely and you're going to be very happy with the results.